Psychological safety refers to the shared belief within a team or an organization that you can express your ideas, your opinions, your concerns, and you can even make mistakes without the fear of negative consequences to your self image, your status, or your career. When you work in a psychologically safe environment, you feel comfortable taking interpersonal risks, right? I'm going to raise my hand and try something I've never done before. I'm going to apply for a job that doesn't necessarily look like I'm qualified for, but I think I have enough skills that I can leverage to do this work. I can even be vulnerable no matter where you are in the talent pipeline, from the bottom all the way to the top. And vulnerability doesn't mean I have to tell you all my stuff. Vulnerability means that I can speak up and say, there's some things that I don't know. Or I hired you because you know something I don't, and I want to see you thrive at work. And it's okay if I don't know it. And vulnerability also means I'm building this most amazing team, and I just might put myself out of work. And you can contribute openly, lead to increased innovation, more collaboration, and overall well-being for yourself and for others. And so, why do I say that I think you can have a sense of belonging at work and not psychological safety? It's really because of how this term is defined. It's the shared belief that the whole team in the organization can express their ideas. So, you might have levels of feeling like you belong, right? You have some work besties, you have some mentors in your organization and some sponsors, but you still won't put yourself all the way out. You play it safe. Creating a psychologically safe place at work for everyone on the talent pipeline takes time because we got to be able to allow people to express their ideas and share their opinions and concerns. And we got to put a process in place where that can happen. Now, psychological safety is a route to two things, right? I think it's both of these things are on the same road. Creating psychological safety actually helps with inclusion, right? It helps us be more inclusive and seek out the ideas, thoughts, and opinions of others. But it also helps us build high performing teams because we know that high performing teams are diverse, they're inclusive, they address bias and they're free from bias, and they're psychologically safe. And so if we can make people feel a sense of being included, right? Your thoughts, your opinions matter here. And because of that, they're going to give you their best work. Because just think about it. If I don't feel safe with you as my leader, my manager, my boss, whatever term you use, and if I come into work every day, whenever I'm physically with you or on Zoom and I walk in the building and I feel like I don't want to be here, I'm not comfortable here, I don't feel like I belong, I feel like I'm mistreated, I'm running into bias all the time, am I going to give you my best work? Heck no. You're never going to get the best ideas from people who are dealing with workplace trauma that they may have received before they got to your organization, that they haven't addressed while they're with you, or that happened with you. And most likely, you're not going to get the best work from people who've experienced workplace trauma while they're with you because two things are happening for them. They're trying to avoid being hurt again, and they're trying to find a way out. They're like, I got to find me another job and I'm out of here. Right? Are you fully engaged with your team and with the work? Or are you just going through the motions? Like, when's the last time you actually took a risk at work? You tried something different. You spoke up about someone else's work product or a process that they oversee and gave your opinions about it. Right? We don't even do that a lot. Or when was the last time you welcomed someone into your office or your workspace and say, hey, I'm working on this. And I'd really like for you to give me your opinion and like, what do you see? What do you think I'm missing? Right? When's the last time you've done that? And psychological safety is not a new term. It's not something that was recently coined. I think there's been a resurgence in it. I know for me, I think it's always been something I strived for to provide to people who worked for me. And I'll say, when I did work in a traditional organization and not running my own business, I think I gave people psychological safety because I would sometimes not get enough work done in a workday because there were so many people coming in my office needing to talk and wanting a safe place where they could vent, where they could work through a work related issue, where they could talk freely and brainstorm with someone who did not judge them and say, well, you should know this, right? Because I don't know everything. But this phrase, this term goes all the way back to the 1960s. So it's not that old, like when we think about, the 1960s from today. But Amy Edmondson kind of had a resurgence in this. She did a project at Google and some other organizations, Project Aristotle. And that was one of the things that the engineers and the employees at Google said is that when they feel a sense of psychological safety at work, they perform better. When they feel a sense of psychological safety at work, they perform better. If leaders are playing a pivotal role in fostering psychological safety, their actions and behaviors and communication can either encourage open dialogue or they can stifle it. If you're quick to respond and you constantly overtalk people, people aren't going to talk to you. They're going to stop sharing. You're literally stifling their desire to communicate. And if I'm in a meeting and I have to tell someone, hey, let me finish, that's not a psychologically safe space. Or if I don't recognize that I've interrupted, because I do interrupt, I'm not perfect. My brain is constantly going. And sometimes I bring the way I talk to my girlfriends to work, unfortunately. But someone has to say to me, Jeannine, you keep interrupting me. And I have to be quick to say, you know what? I am so sorry. It is not my intention. I am working on that. And the reason it's important that leaders play a pivotal role in fostering psychological safety and encouraging open dialogue and not stifling it is because in a Harvard Business Review survey, 69% of respondents and said that the behaviors of their leaders positively influence the level of open dialogue and trust on their teams. Groupthink is a killer to innovation and productivity and the bottom line of making more money. And we're all in the business of making more money, right? We want to be more profitable as an organization so that we can reward our employees with shares and more salary from that profitability. So number one, the role of leadership is important. Number two, benefits beyond the team. While psychological safety is often described and discussed in the context of teams, its benefits extend broader throughout the organizational culture, right? Companies that prioritize psychological safety often see reduced turnover, higher engagement, and better overall performance. Companies that prioritize psychological safety, they find that people stay longer, so reduced turnover, higher engagement. People are always raising their hands to do more, to say more, to give more, and better overall performance, right? Less mistakes, right? We can admit them, but we have less of them because we're already in conversation. Research indicates that companies with higher employee engagement and psychological safety outperform their peers by 147% in earnings per share. What? Think about that. 147% in earnings per share. I could use that money. People don't leave the work most of the time. They definitely leave the boss. How can we create a place where we recognize that humanity is more important than this project? This project is very important, but you are more important. Leadership, organizational culture has to be impacted and changed and shifted, and continuous efforts to maintain it. It's not a one-day workshop. It's not a one-day mention at a town hall meeting. We declare this organization psychologically safe. Constant improvement has to be done. Leaders should practice active listening. And I always say, try to talk 10% less at every meeting, right? Ensuring that you fully understand what your team members are saying. Admit mistakes. By acknowledging your own mistakes and vulnerabilities, we humanize ourselves and we create a culture where errors are viewed as learning opportunities rather than failures. Leaders can foster an environment of learning and innovation by celebrating curiosity, right? So sometimes we have to slow down to do that, to encourage questions, even challenging questions. Can we lead to better solutions and deeper understanding if we ask more questions about the issues? It's also essential for leaders to set clear boundaries and expectations to ensure discussions remain respectful and constructive. You can be an untoxic boss. And if you need any help, tips, or if you want us to come talk to your organization, we would love to. And you can just hit us up at Everyday Lead. Our website is everyday-lead.com. And we help companies retain talent from intern to retirement who love what they do in the companies they work for. Hey there, this is Jeannine K. Brown, your host of the Untoxic Boss. Did you enjoy that clip? If you did, there's so much more waiting for you in the full episode. You can catch the entire conversation over on Spotify or anywhere where you listen to podcasts. Just press the link below. We're exploring some powerful topics, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So don't forget to leave comments, reviews, and of course, if you love the show, give us a 5-star rating. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more people who need these conversations and solutions. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. Remember, don't be a jerk at work.